Good morning, dear students. Today we are going to start with the next chapter from Unit 3, chapter number 10, the nervous system. As you all know, every organism must somehow become aware of what is going on around it and accordingly perform actions for its survival. Means, living organisms adapt to their positions and moves as an attempt in response to the changes in the environment. And any change in the environment that causes an organism to react is called stimulus. And the reaction or action of the organism in reply to the stimulus is called as response. Now imagine having a fractured bone or burn in our finger but without the sensation of pain. Sure, it sounds idle and quite the superpower, but from a survival standpoint, it could be disastrous. Pain is the body's way of letting us know that something is not right. It can prevent further injuries or push us to seek medical attention. All of this is possible because human can respond and react to stimuli due to control and coordination among the various organs and organ system. Now in humans, such coordination occurs by two agencies. These agencies are the nervous system, which we are going to study in this chapter, and the another is hormonal system, which we will learn afterwards in second term. So today we are going to start with one of the important organ system of our body which control and coordinate all the activities of our body, the nervous system. Now first of all, let's begin with the need of nervous system. Why do we need nervous system? The nervous system in our body performs the following major function. Now first is keeps us informed. It keeps us informed about the outside world, our surrounding through the sense organs. It also enables us to remember. It also helps us to think or reason out the things. Now, reason out means why, when, where, this type of questions which arise in our brain, that is all due to this nervous system. Now next, it also controls and harmonizes all voluntary muscular activities, the activities which are there under our control. Those activities which are according to our will or under our control, those are controlled by our nervous system. Example, running or even holding this book in your hand while you are reading it. These are two examples, many more are there. Now the fourth one, it also regulates involuntary activities which are not in our control, like breathing, beating of the heart, peristaltic movements of the alimentary canal. These activities are not in our control. All these involuntary activities are also controlled by the nervous system. So this is why we need nervous system. Now starting with the next topic, that is neuron or nerve cell, the unit of the nervous system. Our nervous system, it consists of four things: brain, spinal cord, sense receptor, and whole lots of nerves. These nerves, the brain and spinal cord, they are made up of neuron or nerve cells. So as neurons and nerve cells are present in the main part of our nervous system, that is brain and spinal cord, so they are the building block of our nervous system, or we call these nerve cells as structural and functional unit of our nervous system. So we are going to start with the structure of neuron. It is very important from examination point of view also. The diagram of nerve cell, diagram of neuron is very, very important from examination point of view. So let's start with the structure of the neuron. Three main parts of the nervous system are perikaryon, axon, and axon ending. Starting with perikaryon. Peri means surrounding and karyon means nucleus. So the part of the cell which surround the nucleus, that is called as perikaryon. It is also known as cyton or we call it as cell body. Perikaryon, it contains a well-defined nucleus surrounded by a granular cytoplasm. In cytoplasm, all the cell organelle except centrosome is present. Because nerve cell has lost the ability to divide, so that's why centrosome is not present in nerve cell. Now the next part is dendrites. Dendrites are the branch-like structures. They are attached to cell body through another structure called as dendrons. So dendrites, they are the highly branched structures attached to the cell body through dendrons. Actually, these are the cytoplasmic projections of the cell body only. They carry impulse or messages from next neighboring cells or neuron towards the cell body. Now after that, the next part of the nerve cell, axon. Axon is a long process from the cell body. These are the tube-like structure that carries electrical impulse from the cell body towards the axon ending. That is the last part of the nerve cell. Now these are also the cytoplasmic projection only of the cell body. It varies in size. Sometimes it is only few millimeter in length, or sometimes it is more than 1 meter as the nerve cells which are present in our arm. In most of the neurons, axon, it is surrounded by white insulating sheet. In most of the nerve cells, axon is surrounded by white insulating sheet known as myelin sheath, or we call it as medullary sheath, And the neurons where the axon is surrounded by the myelin sheath, those neurons are called as myelinated neurons. In mammals, most of the neurons are of this type only, myelinated neuron. So this is the structure of myelinated neuron, as the axon of this neuron is surrounded by myelin sheath. Now outside the myelin sheath, there is one another covering known as neurolemma or neurolemma. Now myelin sheath, it shows gap throughout the length of the axon. Just see, this is myelin sheath. Here there is a gap in between the myelin sheath, that is the inner lining of the axon. These gaps are called as node of Ranvier. These gaps are called as node of Ranvier. Some axon, they have side branches, not shown in this diagram. Some axon, they have side branches, and these side branches, they are known as collaterals. These are known as collaterals. So these are the side branches which are known as collaterals. Next is the end portion of the axon. Now this is all axon. At the end of the axon, again this axon branch out into number of branches. Each branches has a swollen ending, and that swollen part of each branch of the axon is called bulb, and these branches of the axon, they are known as axon ending. These bulbs, these swollen structures which are present at the end of axon ending, they contain special chemicals which help in transmitting impulse from one nerve cell to another nerve cell, and those chemicals are known as neurotransmitters. And one of the neurotransmitter present in our nerve cell, that is acetylcholine. Now, the axon terminals are closely placed near the dendrites of the next neuron. Now, these are the axon terminals, and this is the next nerve cell. The dendrites of the next nerve cells are very close to the axon terminal of the previous nerve cell, and there is a gap in between the axon ending and the dendrites of the next nerve cell, and that gap is known as synaptic cleft. So this cap is known as synaptic cleft, and the impulse carried by the nerve cell passes through this synaptic cleft by the mean of acetylcholine or the neurotransmitter, and then goes to the dendrites of the next cell, and that dendrites carries the impulse in the same manner to the cell body to the axon, axon to the axon ending, and so on. So this is all about the structure of nerve cell. Again I am repeating, diagram of myelinated neuron. Myelinated because axon is covered by myelin sheath. That is very important from examination point of view. Now the next topic which is there in your book are some important definitions related to this chapter. First is stimulus, an agent or a sudden change of the external or internal environment that result in a change in an organism or any of its body part. Any sudden or external change is called as stimulus. Example: light, sound, heat, pain and hunger. Response: the reaction of the organism to the stimulus, that is called response. The change in an organism resulting due to stimulus. The impulse: a wave of irritability, that is electrical disturbance that sweeps over the nerve cells, that is called impulse. Receptors: these are the specialized epithelial cells which on receiving the stimulus set up wave of impulse towards the central nervous system. Many kinds of receptors are there. Photoreceptors, which respond towards the light, phonoreceptor to sound, thermoreceptor to temperature, olfactory receptor to smell, and so on, present in our sense organ. Now effectors: these are muscles or glands which on receiving impulse from the brain or spinal cord, that is from our central nervous system, contract or secrete substances to show response. Those are called as effectors. So this is all about the definition. Learn them properly. And next we are going to start with transmission of nerve impulse. One more thing which I am going to tell you here, that now till yet you have studied two terms. First is nephron and another is neuron. Nephron you have studied in the previous chapter, and nephron is structural and functional unit of kidney. It helps in filtering nitrogenous waste from the blood. And neuron is a structural and functional unit of nervous system which help in conducting impulses from one cell to the next cell of your body, from one part of the body to next part. So nephron is structural and functional unit of kidney, and neuron is a functional and structural unit of nervous system. So don't get confused in these two terms, though both are very important.